I didn't know that was before.
Where are we today?
We're at the Light Speed, and we're going to see a Light Speed art show.
An art show. Do you think they'll be singing and dancing?
If maybe in the pictures, but
Yes.
I don't know if I remember these artists right. They probably don't sing and dance for an audience too much.
That's right. I know Donna, who's on the show, is showing her work, as well as Kevin.
That's right. Looking forward to seeing
meet some
both
other.
of them.
We'll get to check
Some
them
new
out.
artists.
Absolutely. So come and enjoy the show with us. We're here with Matt at the Lightspeed Gallery. Matt, tell us about some of the kinds of artwork that you're involved with.
I am an experimental artist. I work with all types of mediums.
Wow.
Watercolors, illustrations, graphic novels. I'm starting to work with sculptures, playing around with powder pigments and mixing colors. So I do a little bit of everything.
So you said graphic novels, right?
I'm not a writer. I haven't started really like playing with writing yet. I really just work in collaboration with writing to illustrate graphic novels. Currently, I have one short poem that I've illustrated. When it came out very public, I don't really watch this work and found one that I liked to illustrate.
That's pretty good.
Mostly to put in my portfolio so that I could take it to other prospective jobs and filter down. I was with a dispensary to do for one of their products.
Oh, wow. For dispensary. That's pretty cool. You listen to all those mediums. Do you have a favorite?
Skin.
Tattooing.
There's no other medium that moves and sneezes and brings either family members to come in and do work on them, as well as the connection that you make. There's a lot of trust involved in this type of collaboration.
Do you ever feel like a therapist? You are coming, telling their woes, maybe yelling at them a little more.
Absolutely. I work with a lot with my clients culture. We do a lot of your therapy.
Sure, probably the biggest underpaid therapists, tattoo artists, bartenders, maybe hairdressers. For sure.
So you have a little tattoo here on your neck.
Yeah, I've got a couple of tattoos that have any questions. Actually, I believe this one was just my Halloween tattoo. I have a friend that I kind of use tattoos to mark specific landmarks along my shirt. It's an intrinsic memory. Now, every time she sees that tattoo, it makes it give her a memory of that trick.
That's true.
Do you have a studio for your tattoo? Here? Oh, really? Oh, there's a tattoo studio here. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Blacklight Gallery on the other side of the Blacklight Gallery is the tattoo.
Wow. Do you have other tattoo artists that work there as well?
Absolutely. Right now, Levi is doing a tattoo as we speak. You can feel free to go back there and walk into that space and all the art back there.
Oh, we'd love to see that. What's the most challenging part of being a tattoo artist for you?
I would say it's a mixture between scheduling, like getting people's schedule to mesh with my schedule, because I've got so many different things.
Kind of like going to the doctor. You're finding the time to match
And as well as getting the client's vision to match the end product. So oftentimes they come to me because they don't have the creative mind to come to ideas, and this is what I'd like to illustrate, and this is what I have ideas for, and we go from there. And
Quick sketch here.
usually I'll take up maps of the body parts, and then I'll see, because I've been doing tattoos for so long, I know how it's going to fit as well as flow with the muscle structure and movement of the human body. That's one thing that I always like to take into. That's the part that makes tattooing my favorite, because it's two-dimensional, but it's three-dimensional.
Sure, oh, absolutely.
And you get to see the art piece in motion and movement all the time.
And that's kind of neat seeing it move and jumping everything.
Yeah.
You ever find clients have like unrealistic expectations? You know, what's been sort of an example of that?
A lot of times clients will try to make put a whole bunch of subject matter into a small tattoo, and that can be done in other mediums, but tattooing, like our lines spread in our skin as we go older, the tattoo ages, so the tattoo will age and not have room to grow. And that's kind of the biggest problem here when people have too much subject matter. They want to pack it all in one small tattoo.
So,
Bigger to hold detail.
do you recommend sometimes that they go with a bigger tattoo for that idea, or do you just say this isn't realistic what you're asking?
Sometimes both. Sometimes I'll recommend, okay, now you've got 10 pieces of subject matter that you want to pack into this small tattoo. Maybe what are the most important pieces of subject matter? Can we negate some of that? Can we get rid of some of this other stuff? And maybe that's a whole other tattoo that we do later on. But this isn't enough room for all of this stuff. So maybe instead of 10 of these some pieces of subject matter, maybe it's only like 5.
Now, I've heard a rumor, I mean, my daughter has got a bunch of tattoos, but some people like to come and get a tattoo partly because they enjoy the pain. Would you say that there's any truth to that?
Yeah. Like we were talking about before, ink therapy, sometimes that pain can be very therapeutic. The emotional pain, the physical pain, now we have something to narrow it down on, and you can get over with it.
So you ever do any artwork for these shows?
Yeah, absolutely. The back tattoo space is pretty much filled up with the material that is here in the house, because I also have stuff showing.
Do you know as a kid, young kid, or what age would you say, yeah, I'm an artist?
I was 9 years old when I was yeah, I've been doing it.
It's an incredible thing. And how did you connect with the group here?
I built it.
So, is this your place?
Yeah, I built it, and I invited all my friends. I asked all my friends for help. A lot of my friends are already artists. This is what I've done for my entire life. So, like, I don't like to show my work out here very often. I prefer to show all my friends' work out here. I can show my work in the back and tattoo if there's not enough space. You know what I mean? If there's, I prefer to just show if we have enough pieces to flow all the way back. Like next month, Jesse Stockwell has enough stuff. His stuff will be all the way back.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Well, thank you for your time, and we would like to see the tattoo space and some of your work there if you are willing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can take a tour back there.
That'd be great. Thank you.
look at our glasses, Peter. We got a cat with us. That's why she doesn't need them.
I don't need them. I can see in all 7 of my lives.
Very good. Very good. So, are some of these your work?
Yes, these are mostly my work, but we also have, I'm from Smokebrush, and we have a Smokebrush art club. And so some of these paintings are from other people in the art club. But most of these are, in fact, mine or a collaboration that I did with other people.
Beautiful. Some of them are just amazing. I saw a sign that said Smokebrush. I have never heard of it.
Oh, wow.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, wow. Well, you asked me if I specialized in this kind of art, and I said, well, no, I specialize in all the kinds of arts, and that's what Smokebrush Foundation for the Arts is about. A few of our projects have been that we designed the Uncle Wilbur fountain, just most recently painted giant turtles on the streets of Manitou to slow people down in the crosswalks.
Did it work?
Yeah, I'd say it's working. I mean, yeah, you don't want to crash into a turtle.
No,
And,
that just doesn't seem right. Yeah.
We do a lot of public art, as well as dance, theater, and biodynamic farming and farm-to-table dinners. And so I like all of the arts. Yes.
Oh, wow,
When you
that's
do a
fantastic.
piece like this, do you know how it's coming out while you're working on it?
No, I receive all my art directly from who knows what dimension. And so I just translate what they tell me. But in this case, this is called Holy Cow.
Holy cow.
Holy Cow.
Nice.
So there's all kinds of things going on.
Yeah.
This one, I can tell you a lot about this piece.
Okay.
This piece is about when Atlantis sank.
Oh, okay.
Atlantis was the most advanced civilization we've ever had on this planet. And it was at a point in its history that's exactly like the time in history that we're in now on our part of the planet. And they were poised between negative and positive, and they chose negative. They had nuclear weapons and they sank. And so giant sea turtles came to Atlantis and rescued all the wise beings, all the sages and the goddesses and the seers, and took them to India and Japan and China, the Americas, the Maya lands. And so this is a painting of when that happened in the Maya. It's the last day. It's the day the Atlantic civilization sank. And then, of course, there's usually a few spaceships in my pictures, too.
Nice.
So it's like there's a purple line that goes up and down when I nod my head. And then, what is that for supposed to be? It's kind of neat. I like it.
Are you talking about these little reflective pieces
Yeah.
of metal? Well, I wondered if perhaps they weren't things falling apart or coming down from the spaceship. I don't know what they are. They're very sparkly and beautiful and a bit
Yeah, they
metallic.
are.
So, do you ever get like sort of the equivalent of writer's block?
I've never had that.
I was going to guess no. I mean, you seem to be so receptive to, being a channel of what's coming in, what's coming out.
Well,
Whatever your brain tells you, your hand does right away, right?
Well, it's not my brain.
Or,
That's actually the secret. It's not my brain. I tapped into a bigger brain and just let it come through.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I've met a few artists that do that, like all the time. It's amazing.
Very
And
creative.
Well,
All this.
thank you.
do you find that coming to an art show like this, does it give you ideas or inspiration? Or how do you get your inspiration?
Well, I already got commissioned to do another painting while I was here. That's what Don was telling me as he was standing in the way of our interview. He was telling me, "Oh, I need you to do a big a painting, sort of like a painting I did about 15 years ago. So I got inspired by that, and I also got to talk to the amazing artist out there who does a lot of birds and trees, and I was very inspired by her work, and she was inspired by mine. So yeah, I'm thrilled now to go take some of the beauty I saw in her work and see if I can bring some of it into mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time
Well, thank you.
and so passionately sharing your thoughts about this beautiful work.
Oh, thank you for
Very,
wanting to
very
know about it.
Real people, real stories, real life. We're looking for guests. We're looking for you here on the third chair. I'm Peter, that's Doug, and how many different ways can we have guests?
Oh, at least 3. We could have them here in the studio in Colorado Springs. We've had guests all the way from LA on Zoom, and we have gone on location, and we got our 3rd one already in the planning phase.
Awesome. Send us an email and we'll get you on the show. Well, we're here with, is it Jake?
It's Jake.
Jake, I like that name, Jake. And this room that we're in is the studio. Do you mostly do still shots or do you have like a green screen you can set up? Or?
I've got a couple different backdrops I use. This one right now is just, it's on its last legs because it's my last papered one and I'm just kind of trying to get rid of it. But I normally just use the bottom and the artists take the top half and they love to do all kinds of things with it. So
Sure.
they do like your white paper backdrops. But I've got a couple different vinyl ones. There's a couple in the mail coming in, but with technology nowadays, you don't really need green screen to do masking.
Sure.
You know, I can just, the AI will just highlight it all for you, go in and touch it up, and just put whatever you want to behind it.
So what's your role here? Is this like your studio or are you the
I'm one of the other owners.
You're one of the other owners? Cool.
Yeah, so the owners are going to be me, Nat, and then we have Scooter, Scott. He's one of our investors who comes in and helps out, runs a lot of the music stuff for us. But I do the whole back end, all the stuff that makes the business run. Nat gets to do all the fun stuff.
Yeah, I noticed you had like a goals for the year list on your whiteboard and stuff. So yeah, I was gonna say that's not
with,
typical of an artist.
Yeah, I do a lot of consulting as well. So that whiteboard over there was actually with a local group of artists out here who do a lot of music. And they brought me out to a couple of their different shows. We actually just got back from Arkansas. We went to Arkansas twice last month to go out, and we got paid to perform out there.
Was it warmer in Arkansas than it has been here?
Honestly, it really wasn't like terrible. There wasn't a whole lot of ice. Like that was like telling me to be prepared for like all this rain, and sleet, and all this nasty stuff that was going to go on. And it was actually relatively nice up there. In certain parts. Yeah, really parts were a little iffy, but weather wasn't terrible. So they wanted to do a whole year plan on they're like, how do we monetize this? How do we do it? How do we do that? And like most of the people, my philosophy is a lot of people, like you got enough people telling you how you can't do things and how this isn't going to work or whatever. It's not my job. My job is to come here and actually figure out how do we make it work. And now it's with it up to you to figure out if you can actually fill those steps. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we built them out 6 months of stuff.
So how long has this business been here?
We started build out in April, did our grand opening in August, and we're trying to just start to really get everything put together and snowball it all up right now and get it to where we really like it to be.
Looks like you got a good crowd tonight.
Yeah, we got a good crowd. It's not terrible. I think the most we had in here at once was on our Halloween thing, so like 86 tickets for that one event. But there was a lot of people in there. I was packed. It's a lot of cleaning.
Did you have a haunted house or did you do a lot of Halloween type pictures?
So we did both. So we did a costume contest where the winner would get a half sleeve tattoo for the winner, whoever did that. And that was all voted online. People would go online, whatever picture would have the most likes would be the winner. So that was a lot of fun. Actually, a decent media marketing thing that I use for other people to force engagement and interaction. On top of that, we had the haunted house that was out there as well. So people got like free pictures, they got the opportunity for a tattoo, they got to see the haunted house. We had like 3 or 4 DJs playing that night as well. So it was a good time. It was a long night, really long night.
What's the most challenging part of your job duties here, or responsibilities?
Dealing with artists. You guys suck. I swear to God, it's like herding cats. And I'm like, did you get your paperwork done? They're like, paperwork? And I was like, you gotta check your email. Email?
So is that most artists, or is it just a few?
There's definitely a few. There's actually a really large gap, I feel like, between like hardcore, like really creative artists and like hardcore, like really efficient businessmen. And so my job here is to kind of bridge that gap and to teach artists scalable and efficient ways to be sustainable within their career. And so it helps out a lot. But yeah, there's normally some of them, like you can show them artists are smart in the fact you only have to teach them things once, right? So like I can show them something and be like, well, that was kind of dumb, and do it this way. And they're like, oh, I can do it that way. And then it's their idea, and then they love it and they do it all the time. It's great.
Yeah, most people, if you convince them it's their idea,
They can't be bad, right?
they'll run with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, my
exactly.
daughter, she works at a museum, but she's a art show coordinator.
Okay.
And the way she talks, she'll have 50 artists, but like 3 to 5 give her almost all the problems, and then
Right.
the rest are like, okay, and then it's like,
Yeah, so that's the main thing is just working with artists is kind of difficult, getting them organized. That is honestly Jess deals with a lot of that now, and she's got us at it. I'm not able to be as patient. I'm not very patient with a lot of things, but she'll be like, it's okay, it's fine. I'll come in here and stay late to help you, and I'd be like, what? We got business hours for a reason, and just like stop yelling at our people. Sorry. I didn't mean it.
No, that's great. Yeah, I've noticed even trying to get guests for we do a 1-hour podcast webcast once a week, and it's like you send people a text and they like text you back a week later, or you send them an email and they may not even respond. It's like, what is the deal here?
They're like, did you send it to my artist email or my artist profile email? And I'm like, you have 2? You have 2? Like, when?
Well, that's okay, man. I don't check either of them. Yeah.
So do you do a lot of art besides photography?
I do a lot of spray paint. I like to spray paint stuff. They can't leave spray paint around because it'll be gone. I'll find random things to spray paint. They'll be like, why is my desk gold today? I'll be like,
Yeah, no idea.
yeah, so I just
Because there's a can of gold spray paint on those
Come on.
yeah. If you're lucky, I have enough to actually complete my projects. I get a little over ambitious, and I'll be like, "This is enough spray paint." And start doing something, I'll be like, "Ooh, sorry, Nat, that's your desk now." So,
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like it's difficult for artists to make a full-time living doing art. Like usually they got some kind of side gig, or
yeah.
hopefully they're selling merchandise on social media or something.
I mean, yeah, so there's standard business 101 that goes through every customer process. It goes awareness, then trust build, and then conversion. It doesn't matter if I want to sell you an art piece, if I want you to sit down and discuss a commission with me, if I just want you to come in to view my art. There's always that process from awareness, trust build, conversion. They have to be aware of you, that they have a problem, that you can solve it. You have to build up enough trust to prove to them that you can solve it, and then you can force a conversion afterwards. So that process I feel like is lost a lot on a lot of artists, and they'll go they won't go for any trust building. They'll put their money in here, they'll put their stuff up in an art gallery and hope it's up, or they'll just put up a couple Facebook posts and hope that works. I do a lot of marketing. I help out a lot with marketing and the whole relationship between customer and client, as well as lead following and retention and keeping up on these things. So it's not just
So it's always easier to upsell on a trusting customer than trying to find a new one.
yes and no.
If you have the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's also the amount of trust that you need to build is directly related to a price point. So from A realtor talking to somebody and getting a lead, it normally takes about 6 to 12 months before they're actually ready to sign the papers, get the house, get the keys, right?
Right.
If you and I go to the gas station and you're like, I don't know what soda to drink, and I'm like, get this one.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you know, it's
Yeah,
$2, it's whatever, I'll try the soda, you know, so it's different, right? And so what you do to build that trust is you start with your smaller conversions, you know what I mean? I just want you to maybe just check this out, go like my page, and now you can be up on it, right? And start to actually fill up a real sales funnel method where you have new leads coming in, old leads retaining, and these guys are chunking around and going around until you do your conversions. You are correct. It is hard for artists to do that. So, but they don't understand the structure behind it. And a lot of the times when we lay people out the structure, they're like, oh, this actually works. Like Jesse Stockwell, super phenomenal artist, super talented guy. He comes in, we coach
It's
him
going to be
a
a
lot.
show here next month.
Yeah, he was a show here. We just picked his stuff up from VIP Realty where he was showing us stuff there last month. And I think it was the Cruiser Gallery the month before that. I don't know. But he's super skilled, super talented. He understands, he's much more business minded than a lot of the other people I've talked to. He just understands the process behind things, and he knows that it takes time, it takes dedication. And if I actually want to be an artist, I can't just make it. You know what I mean? Being able to make the art is the first step to being an artist. Congratulations, you hit the hair. Now you have to sell it, and that's where the struggle comes in.
Yeah. You know, I know it's also a little more challenging in smaller markets where you don't have as many people with discretionary income like you might in LA or New York, where, you know, someone can walk in, it's $1,000 piece, and it's like no big deal. It's a little harder, I imagine, in Colorado Springs to have a lot of people do that, but I don't know, I could be wrong.
It is right, yeah. So it just comes down to your demographic marketing at that point. You know, who am I marketing towards? If I'm selling, if like Doll does a bunch of small pieces, she does a lot of, like her last show had 223 pieces in this place, which was a pain in the ass to tag and put up and hang. It's great. Yeah, and then of course she's standing behind us. I think it should go more to the left. Shut up, Doll.
You're hanging the 180th picture, like
Every step, like, there was one painting that moved 6 times, and she would like ask 2 people, one person move it twice, and he'd be like, no, I'm done. You go to the next person, she'd be like, would you move it twice? And she was like, no, I'm done. So she worked her way through her entire staff to where that painting moved like 6 to 8 times that one time, or that one day. But yeah, so it just goes down to demographic marketing. So if she's targeting like smaller, 2x2s, or like, things that fit on your desk. Someone who walks in on the street is more capable, more likely to be of that income range, I guess, to be able to purchase that. You know what I mean? $200 to $1,000, while it's still a luxurious expense, is not as much. And then you have other people like Jesse. He helps build giant, like super modern apartment complexes, right?
Wow.
So why don't we talk to the guy who runs that? I know you charge a lot of money to do these things, you know what I mean? And to put art in there, he needs art to fill the lobby and to fill the apartments and to make that there. So that's the client we need right there. That would fit his demographic.
One of my daughters is an artist, although she's leaning more towards being a writer, but she is also a decent painter and studied at Pines Peak. I did an associate's in that. And one of the things I observed is that a lot of artwork takes a lot of time, and so, by the time you buy a basic canvas and some oil supplies, and say you spend 30 hours on a piece and you're only paying yourself $15 an hour, you've literally, need to sell it for $5.50 to just sort of paying yourself minimum wage.
That comes into workflow process and actual creation of what you're doing. So there's 2 points I want to make on this one. I'll have to return to it. But just because you mentioned oil paints, like that's on her. If you're an artist and you're doing one oil paint at a time and you have space to do 5, you're kind of a dipshit. You know what I mean?
So you're saying work on multiple projects?
Oil, the same time it takes to dry out one oil paint, it would take the same for you to dry 5. So I'm gonna start this oil painting because they take forever to draw or to dry, right? So I start this oil painting here, and now I have to let it dry. I can go over to this one, do that, let that dry, go back to this one, let that dry, go back to this one, let that dry, number 5, number 1's ready. And I can keep going. So if you want to be an artist, it's not just selling your stuff, it's creating an efficient workflow, right? Sure. Because if your overhead, like you said, is so high in the beginning to where you're trapped into selling this dinky little piece for $1,500, you better have some really good connections.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that was a strategy. I just noticed her as she's learning, and of course she is learning the skills.
Yeah.
And, you probably would become a little bit faster.
That's what
there was an interesting study done that they took 2 groups of artists. One group, they said, okay, we want you to spend a lot of time and do one painting to turn out something really good. And they took the other group and they said, we want you to do as many paintings as possible. Mm-hmm. And the group that did as many as they could in the same amount of time actually had way more paintings that turned out awesome. And so there's really something to working on multiple projects at the same time, even for turning out more pieces that look really good.
Mm-hmm. I have 5 of them and 3 of them sell. You tripled your production.
Well, if I'm standing here with 5 paintings and you're standing here with 1, who's going to build more trust for the client?
That's true.
Right? You have the catalog.
They were
going to do 5 different types of paintings.
They were looking at the purpose of the study was to see if you focus just on one project with all your might versus unleash yourself sort of wildly, would that one piece come out spectacular? And they really found that the people that just went wild produced a bunch of great work.
You stare at it until you hate it, man. Like I did that with I just did a music video recently, and I spent 5 days on it, and I couldn't get it right, and I had to just take a break from it, work on a bunch of other projects, come back to it, and I knew exactly what I needed to do.
Yeah.
It all just kind of blurred together. I was like, I'm sitting there staring at it and drooling and just not comprehending anything. I'd like to return to your point of it's hard for artists to make money. I think the most successful way I've seen artists make money is specifically.
What is the pad?
What? The iPad? Well, I do not have the iPad. It should be in front drawers.
I thought so.
But yeah, so is tattooing. Is these guys, they're going through an apprenticeship that costs as much as a trade school, and they're coming out and making $100, $150, $125 an hour doing this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're immersed into the art world as well.
Oh, I think tattoo artists are brilliant that way, assuming they all can do the job, because you're also paying money up front. Sometimes people sell a painting on a payment plan, and like you're lucky if you get more than a couple of payments,
Right.
and the art is gone. And here it's like, this is going to cost you $500. I need $250 now and $250, before you walk out.
Right, exactly. So it teaches a lot of really good skills too. So like you have to like find your own leads, you have to follow up on them, you have to have a good online presence, you have to, like all the skills that an artist would need to follow up traditionally, and to do that traditionally, they can learn tattooing, as well as, like we've had apprentices that, quit their job, came here, was able to make enough money to do the apprentice thing, and took off because they had, they were just immersed into this art world. This also isn't the first tattoo shop I've owned. This would be the second one. And so the main thing I see in a lot of hiring processes and a lot of applications is people are just all these degrees and they are selling fucking dirt at trivial wins. You know what I mean? They're not able to take these degrees and actually apply them to what they need to do. And so the amount of time you spend on your associate degree versus paying a tattoo apprenticeship, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think well, apprenticeship is.
I think there's a time period.
There's no actual standard of it. It's that we do apprenticeships. Every shop does it differently, and like a lot of them are like, wash my car if you're late. You know what I mean? Like my friend Tim had to strip and re-wax the floor twice because he was like, I'm done cleaning, trying to tattoo now. And they're like, don't ask me dumb questions, and like made him do it. So our model here is designed specifically. Well, our business model, our business mission statement is artist empowerment, and our apprentice program fits that perfectly. So we offer them an opportunity to make money while they do it. So they pay for it, but a lot of our apprentices, when they were doing it, they were able to pay for their booth rent, or not their booth rent, but their apprentice fees by tattooing and covering it up, and as well as having a little extra income to it. And so
do you do tattoos?
I do not do tattoos, no. They do all the hard work. I do those kind of things.
You have plenty of tattoos.
Perks of owning tattoo shops for the last 5 years,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just get to that idea, hey.
You know what'd be cool? Or like I'll see them looking bored and I'll be like, you look bored. They're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I got something for you, dude. So,
you mentioned you'd done a music video. Are you involved with all the pre-production as well as production and post-production?
Yeah, I typically
do the editing too.
So I'll block out the scene, figure out exactly what I want.
We should talk to our producer because he does all that for us.
Yeah, it's a great time, isn't it? And they're like,
it's always fun.
Yeah, they're like, it's not done yet, is it? Why isn't it done yet? It's like, well, I've got 1,000 pictures I have to go through. I think the last round I got like 976 raws I went through and pulled out maybe like 50, used maybe 50 or 60 of them,
Wow.
But yeah, I'll block out the scene, I'll direct it while I do it, I'll record it, and then, take it all back, put it all together, edit it, slap it out for them.
Yeah, we made a music video. It wasn't too bad.
Nice.
Yeah. This is taken with a lot of range of possible answers. Sort of, what do you think people are paying in town for like a basic music video, maybe with just 3 or 4 different kinds of scenes and not a huge amount of CGI or special effects or that sort of thing?
I try not to take my camera out the bank for under $350. That's where the negotiations would normally start unless I'm doing a special or something. My friend up in Denver, he does $1,200 for a music video. He's got a 6K Dragon Cinema camera. And then my other friend out here, he starts at $500 for his music videos and does that. So it can range. The average boudoir photographer in America makes $3,500 a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really just depends on really where you're at, who you like it. The music scene is always really hard to get a good standard from because people are friends and they hook their friends up, and then like this guy can't afford it because he's an artist and he's starting, and so like he's gonna cut a deal for this guy,
Right,
they do some barter. So
Sure.
there's a lot of community involved in it, so there's not really like a set standard price.
Have you done anything with film?
Film?
Or like a movie or making a movie or?
We've thrown around a couple ideas for a documentary. I've thought about it a couple different times. I've helped plan a couple different documentaries with other people, just kind of like block it out and send them on their way. But I actually haven't done anything that's like over like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I've done a couple recap videos and vlogs and stuff, but
We did this same thing at a film festival. We saw a lot of films that day as well as interviewed some of the people who made it.
how'd that go?
It was noisier there.
Yeah.
We'll see when it comes out next month.
All right.
Yeah.
That was really downside. The acoustics were not great.
It was at Ivy Wild, and Ivy Wild is it's an echo chamber.
I used to run that bar back when it was Boodads. I was one of the
Boodads.
Boodads. Yeah.
Sounds like a Louisiana bar.
It was the first place I tried alligator. Actually, I was the head bartender for the upstairs of that place. I had a good memory there from one time. I had, those big football trays of food. I had 2 of them. These guys were waiting like an hour and a half for their food for this whole party that took over the upstairs. And I got all the way up to the top step, looked at the table, announced my presence, and it fell.
Oh,
Dropped it
wonderful.
all. It was great. It was smooth. It was battery.
Yeah, I was a busboy and cop while going to college, and I dropped a couple of those.
Oh yeah, I
That was a lot of dishes.
Captain America pizza pans into my eye and stuff. So like I've done it all in the restaurant industry. It was great.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm really impressed with you, just how much you've done and what you know and what
Stop
you're
it
doing.
much. Yeah, we try. It makes it easy. It's just making everything artist empowerment makes it easy. It's how do we make the artists do their thing? And the artists do their thing, we do our thing on top of it, and everybody's happy. So don't.
Yeah, I kind of like your mantra, empowering artists. I like that. Hi, I'm Peter from Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching, and as you know, I do help people with drug and alcohol recovery issues. I love to help people get better, but I also offer a variety of other services, including regular life coaching services. I've helped several people write and finish a book. I've helped a doctor that was in medical school graduate and then get into a residency. And I also actually have quite a background in mathematics, and I do some math tutoring for the GED as well as the ASVAB for those that are thinking about a career in the military. So my contact information is on the screen. Please send me an email or a text, and we can talk about some of these services and how I can help. That's Peter Grigg at Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching. That was an awesome art show.
Yes, it was over here at 306 South 25th Street. Light speed.
That's right. And so I don't know if they circulate artwork in and out, and that there would be
Well,
different
this
artwork
was a
to see.
special show, though, that we this art will stay up as long as the show's here.
Right, but I assume that there'll be other shows in the future.
Well, I'm sure there will be.
Yeah, so
That they have plans for shows right along.
I was really amazed at the tremendous diversity of work. That really surprised me tonight, and I really enjoyed that.
I always enjoy beautiful art, so it was a very enjoyable evening.
And so don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell icon so you know when we have uploaded yet another episode of The Third Chair.
I'm glad where Nickel is.
This has been The Third Chair. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. Want to be a guest? Want to sponsor our show? Send us an email.